Okay, hello everyone. I am going to show you a simple kind of Thai massage that you can do for your loved ones. I know, a lot of us are self-isolating, so we can't get out to have massages and whatnot, but we can do that for each other. So you can join along. Okay, so what you need first is a really soft cushion, and we start face down. So Mark's got a cushion. Also, it's helpful if you have like a pole, something to hold on to as you do the massage. So we're gonna start from the feet, and you can kind of make sure that you like wiggle and the knees are comfortable. There's not any major pressure, so you can ask the person, just wiggle your legs until there's no pressure on the knees, that you do feel like you're in a comfortable position. And then you're gonna take your right foot, and you're gonna start to smush your partner's foot. So just smushing, 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 smushing all over, up into the heel. Just smush, smush, smush. And then you're going to take your big toe, and just at the crease of the heel, you're going to put pressure down. And then again, move a little further, put pressure down. Pressure down. You're just working your way to the tip of the toe, all the way out. Then you're going to go along the outside edge of the foot in the same manner. Pushing, 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 and then the inside along the arch. Okay, you're going to take the outside of your foot and you're going to squish again, kind of using the knife edge, not in a painful way. And then he'll do that on the other side. So you're going to squish, squish, squish. And obviously, if your partner has any kind of foot conditions, especially anything that's contagious like warts, then you would not do this on them. If they have any issues with their feet that could cause damage by doing this, then don't do it. All actions taken during this massage should be to benefit, to feel good, not to cause pain. So again, big toe, you're going to just at the bottom of the heel, the crease, and put pressure. Then you're just going to continue all the way towards the toe along that line, middle of the foot. And then the outside, putting pressure. Nice thing about this is we can just use our body weight. So you don't need, a lot of effort with the hands. I've heard from others, it's difficult to use the hands to massage another. So we get to use the feet in this type of massage. Makes it a lot easier and more accessible to everybody. And then again, you're going to use a knife edge, and you're just going to smush, smush. So if you were needing help for stability, this is where, if you were closer to a pole, you could be grabbing hold of a pole as you do to find your own balance. I'm okay at the moment. Okay, now, once the feet are done, you just do that the once on either side. Then we start to come onto the legs. So using the arch of the foot, I'm going to start to put a little pressure down and slowly work my way up the leg. Now, as I get close to the knee, that's the soft bit of the knee, I'm going to skip that area. What you can do is just kind of really light pressure, just give it a little wiggle, but you don't have to do that at all. I'm walking in between his legs. Now I have my hand on the pole for support. And again, I'm going to continue above that knee, putting pressure. Now, if your partner's okay with it, then you can actually maybe even just step all the way. So all of my body weight is down into that 1 foot. And so I have equal pressure. I'm not on the edge or on the arch. I'm not on the heel or the toes. It's right through that middle, and I'm putting direct pressure straight down. And I get to the sit bone, right to the crease of the butt. And then I continue walking up that butt cheek, putting pressure, pressure, pressure. Then on the sacrum, which is that flat part of the low back, I put a bit of pressure down, but also traction towards the feet. So it's straight down and traction. And then you let that go. Then you come on to the left side and you do it again. So I've got the arch pushing down, and your partner needs to communicate if the pressure's too much or maybe not enough. I'd rather stay on the not enough side than the too much. And again, nothing on the knee, just maybe a little wiggle. And if your partner's okay with it, you might put all the pressure, so I can take the other foot off. You're stepping, 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 and then pressure onto that glute. And then on the sacrum, down and towards the feet slightly. Okay, and then you do it twice. So you come back to that right leg and you do it again on the right leg. Maybe this time, as things warm up, you go a little deeper. Maybe you can add a little more pressure. So I'm skipping that knee just above it, applying that pressure. How's it feeling, hun?
Yeah, it's feeling good.
So the glute, it's a direct pressure down, and I got that sacrum down and slightly towards the toes. Walking back. And so we're also building proprioception through the hands, or not through the hands, through the feet. And so you can start to feel, oh, is that a bone? Is it soft tissue? You know, was there some resistance? It's just giving you some new information for your feet that maybe you're not used to, which is beneficial. Okay. So now once we've done twice on either leg, just that pressure, it's called Charlie Chapman. So Charlie Chapman walks kind of with the toes out. So if it's comfortable with your partner, now you're going to put both feet on the body. So I'm going to, again, above the knee. Now I've got both feet, Charlie Chapman legs, and I'm going to slowly, 1 foot at a time, walk up. And I'm kind of applying this like outward pressure. And I can go all the way to the butt, and then I walk myself slowly along the butt, along the glutes, until I get to that sacrum, apply pressure down with that little bit of traction towards the toes. Slowly, 1 foot at a time, come off. You do it again, so twice. One leg at a time. This is where the pole comes in handy, so you can keep your balance and you're not falling on them, and the massage can feel enjoyable. Sacrum pressure, this feels really good for most people. Okay, and then slowly come off. Okay. Now, a couple things you can do from here is you can use just 1 foot. And so we're going to start at the sacrum, apply pressure down, and then slowly walking up the spine. Now, the lumbar, the low back, we don't want as much pressure. The spine in the lumbar doesn't have anything else surrounding it. So the thoracic has a rib cage, there's more structure, so it can handle a teensy bit more pressure. But the low back is hanging out in space right now, so we don't want to put all our weight onto it. We're looking at the spine to fall in the arch area. Okay, so just a little pressure down, being mindful, communicating with your partner, and then as we get to the thoracic, maybe apply a bit more pressure if they're okay with it. Oh, we might get a little crack, and that's okay. So we got a little adjustment. I didn't apply a lot of pressure. I'll move my own body. Whoop. And as we get close to the neck, it's just gentle. Okay, doing it twice. Now for some people, you could have both feet on the body. So my one foot is on the sacrum. I've still got support of the pole behind me, and it's still the same. I'm applying a little bit of pressure with this free foot in the lumbar spine and the low back. Then as I get into the sacrum, I can actually as I get to the upper body, I can stay and then carry my other foot to meet. Got another adjustment out of that. And then I just slowly wiggle and walk, and then it's just a little pressure down, and we come off. That's only, if it's comfortable to you. I'm not used to holding a GoPro as I do this. Okay, so that's the warm-up for the spine. So now we start to really work the muscles along the back, and we're going to do that with the heel, okay, with the heel. So I'm going to start, if you can feel, so you've got the pelvis here, the iliac crest, and then you've got these little pokey bits, which are your PSISs. They're just pokey bones. And you're going to come just to the inside of that pokey bone, starting the right side, and get your heel in there, and just a little bit of wiggle, a little bit of pressure. Okay, so we're kind of thinking of just trying to break up some tissue here. If there was scar tissue or tension built up, you're just getting in there, with a little bit of depth, but still light, not aggressive, and just getting some friction, some movement in there, break it up. Then you're gonna move up a tiny bit and do the same. We're not on the spine, not at all, not on any bones, just on the tissue right beside the spine. So you have your rectus spinae, it's a bunch of ropes basically, and you're just following along that thick, ropey area along the back. So again, just slowly inching your way up, a little bit of pressure with the heel, and the pressure goes down, you stay with that, and then you just move your foot up and down. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Okay, and then you move, just working away, and depending on how tight, like you can see, it's going to be a bit wiggly, so you're going to have to just keep that steady pressure and do your best. You might have to slow the movement down if the tissue is wiggling, but you'll notice as you work the tissue, like the second time around, there won't be as much wiggly bits. You will have actually released some tension. I'm going to step in and get a little closer. And I'm slowly just working my way up. Oh, and I forgot to mention, at this point, I would actually ask my partner to move their head so they're facing in the opposite direction that you're working. Yeah, thank you. And that's mainly going to be important as my foot gets close to their face. So then my foot's not on their face because their head's in the opposite direction. Okay, so now we're in between the shoulder blades, and there tends to be a lot of tension in this area. So, spend a bit of time. Now, this is a give and receive. So you do a good job. Hopefully you receive a good job. So put some effort in, put some time. Be mindful. So working all the way up towards the top of the shoulder. And as you get closer to the top of the shoulder, you might maybe back off a little bit, so not as much pressure. Maybe they could handle more. I'm not going into the neck, I'm just going into the top of the shoulder, the meaty part, the traps. Okay, and then as I slide my heel, like almost cupping the top of the shoulder, I'm going to do a little pull and traction back. So I'm cupping the shoulder, with the heel ankle, and I'm just contracting back slightly. Okay. And we do the same thing on the other side. So yeah, he can move his head. So I find that bony bit where the top of the iliac crest forms the PSIS. And then I go just to the inside of that on the fleshy part, start to wiggle, and then slowly work my way up the back, not on the vertebrae themselves, not on the bones, on the tissue. Your partner will let you know if you're on the bones, it won't feel great. And again, just take note, in the low back, you might not apply as much pressure. And as you get into the low ribs, the floating ribs, maybe not as much pressure either. But as we get more into the thoracic, the upper back, it might get a bit wiggly. So when it gets wiggly, I just try and really focus that pressure down. Sometimes I'll even put my whole foot on just to quiet it and just work with that friction motion. And I'm not sliding, notice, I'm not like sliding my foot on their skin. I'm just allowing my foot to keep that pressure and move with their body, with their own tissue. Okay, and then I move a little higher. I'm gonna get a bit closer. So you will want a nice cushion underneath you because you are applying pressure down. But if it's too soft like a bed, then it won't work either. So it's best if you can have like a couple soft cushions underneath you on the floor, not on a bed. So working, maybe you can see the angle here. Working just along the tissue. Ooh, he's got some tension in here. And so if you can see the scap is like this triangle kind of bone. And so we're not on the scap, we're not on the vertebrae, we're right in that meaty bit. And try not to rush it. I might be rushing a bit because I'm making a video, but try not to rush it. Take your time. And while it's nice to stay fluid and not really lose your contact with your partner, if you're uncomfortable, if you're losing your balance, feel free to adjust whenever you need. Okay, so that was one time on each side, and we do it again. We do everything twice. So they're going to move their head. You're going to find that PSIS, that bony sticky out part, come to the inside of it, and then start to work your way up. And now if you want to get creative here, you got a few options. If we kind of break the rules a bit, you might even start to follow along the top of that pelvis and even into the glutes. So you've got the pelvic crest, the ridge here, and I'm at the top of that and just coming down slightly into the glutes. Just getting my heel in there, giving a little dig, little wiggle. So she come to the outside, you know, not too much pressure, but this is getting towards your glute med. That's part of your stabilizer muscles for standing and walking, balancing. So they tend to need some extra tension. You can even come in towards the sit bones, just anywhere really. Okay, and then once you've played around there, you can start to work your way back up the spine. And now maybe it's not quite as wiggly. Maybe go a little deeper. It's okay if they're kind of moving. Whoop. So just find a place where you can kind of pin that muscle down and then get a bit of movement going if it's wiggly on you. Is it okay?
Yep.
Ooh. Okay, again, if you want to get a little creative, you find the top of that, the flat bit of the scalp, and you just dig around in there and see if you can find anything hiding. Okay. Move their head, other side. Now, easier using the feet to do massage, but it still means there's a bit of work. Again, you can explore the top of the pelvic crest. Is there anything hiding there? And then just below it, into the glutes, dig away. And so again, I'm not like, gah, you know, I'm applying consistent pressure, and then I'm holding that pressure and just adding a bit of movement. So I'm not constantly digging in, I'm just applying a bit of pressure and then adding a bit of movement to kind of wiggle and break it up. That's more what you're thinking of than you're not digging it up, you're just like applying a bit of pressure and then wiggling it out. Explore all the areas, okay, and then start to work your way up. So massaging is more about the subtleties, it's about listening. And then applying a consistent boundary to which you do your work from. And even their breath within that boundary can help to release tension. So we're not forcing anything, we're not making anything happen per se. We're just applying a little bit of pressure, a little boundary, little movement, and seeing what the tissue is ready for. And like I said, whatever work you do the first time around, you might notice the second time around, it's ready to actually release or go further. So you don't have to get everything in one shot. Again, you can see my heel. Traction, and I can find that scap. Let's see what I can find in here. Okay, so once that's done, your partner will move their head once again. You're going to come to the right arm. And now this is where it gets a bit tricky depending on how big your mattress is. So he might have to slide over and then bend the elbow. So it's kind of in this cactus shape. Okay, and then outside of the foot is going to come to the edge of the arm. And now I'm just applying that same pressure straight down. Now, this is a funny area. There's some nerves in here. Some people love it. Some people don't like it. Definitely lighter when you get close to the elbow. And then I'll just spin myself around. And it's the same thing. So I'm just applying pressure down on the forearm. This part can feel quite nice. Go to the wrist, getting onto the hand. Good. And normally you would then do the left side, but it's annoying to switch, so I'm just going to do it a second time while he's already here. So I'm just applying pressure straight down, lighter on the elbow, and I'm not actually stepping on the elbow itself, just lighter as you get close. Okay, I'm going to move. So just to the edge of the wrist, and then I apply pressure on the hand. Then you can get him to straighten his arm and rotate palm down, and you'll just step on top of the hand lightly, and that's the arm. So he'll slide over. We can do it on the other side. Again, a little bit of pressure down. Lighter as you get towards the elbow. Skip the elbow, and come onto the forearm. And do it again. Okay. Now straighten the arm. And just step, 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 step. Okay, so from here, your partner is just going to simply roll on to their back. You're going to bend the knees. Yeah. Okay. Just scoot that way a little bit. Yeah, okay. So we're going to let this right knee just drop open. Hopefully not gain something. Okay, so I'm going to start to the inside edge of the inner thigh. Now this is tends to be a tender area, a tight area, so go easy and make sure you don't step on anything you shouldn't be stepping on. Even if it's your lover, it's not going to be happy with you. Okay, so again, we've got the arch. We're just applying that pressure down. As we get close to the knee, we get a little lighter. Okay, and then I'm going to rotate. Got the pole. Now I'm using more of the ball of my foot to apply pressure onto the calf. And get to the ankle, and then you can just do a little squish of the foot. And then you're going to switch, so now it's, yep. So I got pressure. Pressure down, move my body. And more of the ball of the foot, pressing, pressing. Okay, other side. Yeah. And you can make it really nice for them. You could move them yourself and be all lovely, and that's really great. I'm a bit lazy when it comes to these things. So I just tell them, just move. It's totally up to you. Just make it yours. Okay, and then you're going to take your heel on the second time, and you're going to apply, so we've got the kind of heel itself, the bone structure. You've got your medial malleolus, your ankle bone on the inside, and it's directly below that, but on the heel. You'll feel this like bony ridge, and you're applying a tiny bit of pressure, not a tiny, you're applying a bit of pressure on that spot. Don't worry if it's not perfect, it's all good. Just make sure it doesn't hurt. Okay, other side. Again. Squishing, squishing. So there was a time when Mark definitely would have noticed this. His leg would have been up a lot higher. He was really tight. He's doing a lot of stretching these days, working on splits. So his leg's actually resting a lot lower than normal, and seems to be a lot better. So we've got medial malleolus, we've got the heel directly below that. You should find like a bony little ridge. You're putting just your heel down on it and applying a bit of pressure. That's it. Okay. And now both feet on the ground, knees up. Good. And then you're going to take the outside of your foot and you're just going to step on the top of their foot. Some people are really sensitive with the top of the feet, and so this hurts. So just be mindful, and then you squish the toes. Same thing on this side. Stomp on the top. Don't actually stomp. Massage, nice. Squish the toes. Again, always do it 2 times. And last one. Great. So that's technically the end of this massage. Hope you enjoyed. Give lots of love to each other. Now, if you want to add on from here, there's a few other things that we could do. It's not part of the technical flow. So what you could do is get your partner to sit up, and first actually they could maybe go into child's pose. So you're going to bring the big toes to touch, let the knees go wide, just face that way. Yeah, so big toes are touching. Knees are wide, hips are on to the heels, and he's just stretching his arms forward. Now this is another nice place where now you could incorporate the hands if you want. Make sure you wash them first. And apply almost like you're a cat. So you're gonna get your best inner cat efforts coming out. And a little pressure, so fingertips pointing towards the ground, down. Then again, you can kind of walk, and one hand can stay on the sacrum, the other hand up by the neck, and you're just going to pull in opposite directions. And then as you do, you can give a little squeeze, and now we can get into the neck itself. So you're just making a cupping form with the hand, and you're taking on either side of the neck, and you're just giving a little massage. You're going to feel the base of the skull, that ridge, and you're just going to get your fingers up in there and massage all along the base. Does it feel okay? Mm-hmm. Okay, you can even get, oh, so nice, and give a scalp massage. Okay, so that's one, just another nice little thing. Then he can sit up. And yeah, you'll stay facing this way. I'm going to come around. Just move that way a bit. So you can either be cross-legged, or I think it'll work how you are. Do you want to sit cross-legged though to show that version? That's okay. Okay, and then he's going to bring his arms behind him and take hold of my hands. Yeah, there it is. So we've got this connection here. Sit up tall. Okay. And then I'm going to keep one foot by that sacrum, the low back, and the other foot is in between the shoulder blades, like just at the bottom, so kind of behind the heart. And I'm going to traction away from each other and push forward as he thinks about inhaling and lifting the chest up. Does that feel okay? Mm-hmm. So this is an opening for the shoulders, opening for the chest, and a traction for the spine slightly. And then you're going to release. Just be mindful if there's any funky compression on the spine, it doesn't feel good, don't do it. And we'll do it again. So one foot onto that low area, other foot in between the shoulder blades, back of heart, kind of thing just below. Then it's like a push forward and a lift up, like you're scooping underneath as you straighten your leg. You're gonna breathe, relax, open. Oh. Nice. Good? Okay. Do whatever you want with the legs so you're comfortable here. Okay. And again, now I can take my forearms on either side of the neck and just apply a little pressure, and then use the elbows a bit. Roll it out. So I've got palms up, and then I roll in. And little squeeze, little squeeze, little squeeze. And then that's good. If you want a bit, if we're working with just cleaning out the lungs, another thing you can do for each other is you're going to take your hands together, fingertips are wide, and you want to kind of hear this chopping sensation. So it's not rigid. The fingers are loose. Okay? You've got that, and again, we're not on the spine, we're on either side, anywhere along the tissue, but not on the bone. You're going to take that, and you're going to chop. Chop everywhere, especially in the chest. So your lungs actually sit towards your back body. So doing stuff like this can help break up any mucus, anything going on, clean up the lungs so they're functioning even better. Great. All done. You might give him a hug at the end. Mm-hmm. And then you switch.